Nebraska, a winner. 42-17 the final. As the Cornhuskers close out the 9th undefeated and untied season in the history of Nebraska football.
The 1-2 again. Inside corner. The Royals, 2015 World Champions.
Strike three call. It's over. They've done it. The Royals are World Series champions. The world champion Kansas City.
McKinnon is in at running back. First down and goal to go. Play action fake. Right side throw. Touchdown. Kansas City. McCall Hardman.
Welcome to M&M Sports Podcast number 32. We're going to talk some basketball tonight. Incorporate some baseball into the conversation as well. Brian, Sunday, the UConn women captured their 12th title. Coach Gino Auriemma is now 12-1 in championship games. He avenged his one loss. He lost to South Carolina in 2022. At that point, he was 11-0 in championship games. So he was 11-1 after that 2022 loss. They clobber the South Carolina Gamecock ladies 82-59, capturing their 12th title and Gino's 12th title.
That is that's unreal, Eric.
Right. A person can hate on UConn if they want to, but that needs to be respected.
I mean, obviously we all hate on the teams that win.
Right. Great way to put it.
So, yeah, I'm sure a lot of the country is sick of them winning, but the fact that he's 12-1 in national championship games is mind-boggling.
Right. You combine that with the fact that their men's basketball team is 6-0 in championship games all time. And how about this for you? Neither team, men or women, won a single title before 1995.
Oh my gosh.
The women won their first title in 95. The men won their first title in 1999. And combined, the UConn men and women have 18 titles. They are 18-1 in championship games.
I mean, I don't care what level you're talking about.
That is amazing.
That is amazing.
It is.
Wow, I had no idea of that, Eric. I tip my hat to the Husky program. That's unbelievable.
The next closest that I could find, okay, the UCLA men have won 11 titles. Their ladies have 0. So UConn is 7 ahead of the next closest school as far as combined titles, 18-11. The other schools that have won both a men's and a women's that I find this stuff interesting. Just the history, the numbers,
absolutely,
all that stuff. The other teams are the North Carolina men and women.
Okay.
These are schools that have won at least one men's and one women's title. North Carolina, Baylor, and Maryland are the three that I found. Okay. Their men's and women's have won at least one title. So yes, other than UConn, those are the ones that I found when I was researching this.
And meanwhile, our Husker men are still searching for their first ever NCAA tournament win.
Correct.
It'll come.
I have a quick question. Does UConn beat Juju Watkins and USC if they would have matched up with them? Obviously, nobody knows. USC and Juju Watkins beat Gino and the Husky ladies 72-70 on December 21st at UConn.
Yep. I mean, obviously, yes, that's early in the season. Mm-hmm. The teams have changed, but, I mean, yes, they would have given them a better game probably than what South Carolina did.
I think UConn and Coach Auriemma would have found a way.
My money would be on that guy.
Based on what we just said, history, 12-1 and championship games now, yes. Yeah. I'm guessing they would have found a way, but it would have been their best challenge had she not got injured, I'm sure.
Sure, absolutely.
Yep.
Tip of the hat to that program.
Yeah, that's, like I said, that's amazing.
Yep, for sure.
It really is in that short time span as well to accumulate 18 titles since 1995.
Yeah, you're talking a very small cross-section of time with that. So
everybody's playing catch-up to the Connecticut University, we'll say.
Hey, good for them.
Right.
Keep it rolling.
Yes. Okay, Brian, we talked about last podcast how some people would like the fact there were only number 1 seeds left, some wouldn't.
Yep.
We got what we wanted. We've had some great games starting Saturday.
Yep.
With that Florida-Auburn matchup. I mean, you talk about a couple heavyweights. Those teams, they have some dudes on there. They're going to play in the league, a bunch of those players.
I know sitting and watching these games over the weekend, I'm thinking like the teams that I'm used to watching from our area, the Creightons, the Nebraskas, even UNO, these guys are on a whole nother level.
A whole nother level.
So,
yep. Next level talent.
Exactly.
Next level talent. Yeah, athletes all over the place. Like I said, there's going to be NBA players abound on these rosters for sure. Saturday, first game, Auburn jumped out to a 46-38 halftime lead over Florida, who's played catch up a lot of this tournament.
Yeah.
Against UConn, against Texas Tech. So what do? Down 8 at half. They outscore Auburn 41-27 in the second half, led by one hell of a performance out of Walter Clayton Jr. 11 of 18 from the field, 5 of 8 from three-point land, 7 of 7 from the line. Single-handedly brought him back from the brink to steal that game.
It's almost like they flip a switch.
Right.
I mean, you said this, but you look at all those games from this tournament, and there were times where they looked like they were done, and just boom, like that, they're able to score points quickly.
Right. In bunches.
Yes. Served them well, that's for sure.
Right. That was one hell of a game. Like I said, 79-73, Florida prevailed in a battle of two talented squads.
Yeah.
Next game was epic, and part of the reason was, let's just get right to the point. You don't see Duke collapse and blow leads like they did on this given night.
No, not at all.
That just doesn't happen. In their history, you just don't see that with them.
And total hypothetical question here, but do they melt down if Coach K's still... I feel like he would be maybe a calming presence that might stop that, but there was no stopping it Saturday night.
I think you're on to something.
Yeah.
And I think John Shire's a really good coach.
Absolutely.
But here's also what I think. Duke fans will not forget this loss anytime soon.
No.
And I'm just going to throw it out there. Because of their high expectations, because of the standard they have there, if he doesn't win a title, I'll say in the next 3 or 4 years, especially based on how they lost this game, it'll be interesting to see how long they retain him.
Yeah, you're right, because
it's not fair, but when you step into the shoes of Mike Krzyzewski, pressure's on.
Pressure's on,
right.
and the clock is ticking at those programs from the minute they take over.
That's right.
Those fans expect national championships.
Those coaches know the challenge. They know what they're getting into. Yeah. It comes with a certain expectation, and that's the case at Duke.
And that game Saturday night, they had a good look, even though they had blown the lead. They had a good... Cooper Flagg had a good look at the end of that game.
Yeah, I was going to break that down real quick. Yep. Duke got up 34-28 at half, and then with just 2:15 to go, Duke was up by 9 points with 2:15 left.
You don't see this.
Houston started slowly chipping away, and towards the end, it was anybody's game.
Yeah.
It was anybody's game. L.J. Cryer led Houston with 26 points. Emmanuel Sharp contributed 16 points. Houston went ahead on a couple free throws. Duke had a great shot at the end. Their best player, ball in his hands.
Yep.
He missed.
They got the look they wanted with the player they wanted.
He had an open shot. He missed. I was pleased with that.
Yeah.
But I thought he's going to make it. Cooper Flagg he's that good.
Yeah.
I thought he's going to get it.
Yeah, that kid. I mean, he lived up to the hype. You know, people talked him up all season long, and every time I watched him, I came away impressed. He just had a good head on his shoulders. You know what? If he takes that shot 10 times, he probably makes it 7 or 8 times.
Right.
But on Saturday night, he didn't. And you can't blame a loss on one shot, one play.
Sure.
But, that kid has nothing to hang his head about. And he's going to make a lot of money on the next level, so
absolutely.
I don't want to feel too sorry for him.
Absolutely, yeah. I just went back to double check, recap things, so to speak. Yeah, Duke up 9 with 2:15 left. Manuel Sharp made a layup with 2:05 left to cut it to 7, and a free throw to cut it to 6. So Duke still had a 6-point lead with 1:27 left. Whittled it down to 5 after another free throw. Just going through here, Emmanuel Sharp with a couple more free throws. That dude played a big role in that game. A big role to bring them back. Duke still up 6 with 42 seconds left. You know, when the game's been over for a while, you have to go back sometimes to refresh your memory on this stuff.
Yep.
Big turnover by Sion James with 30 seconds left for Duke. Really put him in a tough spot. And then Tugler made a 2 for Houston to cut it to 1 with just 25 seconds left. Big missed free throw by Proctor for Duke. And then a big foul on one Cooper Flagg to send Houston to the line where Jawan Roberts calmly sunk 2 free throws to give Houston that 1-point lead. And then Cooper Flagg missed that jump shot with just 8 seconds left. Houston gets the rebound, hits a couple of free throws by Cryer, and that's all she wrote.
And that foul that was called on Flagg, it was questionable.
Right.
But here's the problem I have, Eric. Watching basketball all weekend between the Crown, between the big tournament, I get really upset, and it's been this way forever. It's not going to change, but the way officials call a game, that foul that they called on him, they would not have called that at the 15-minute mark. But late in the game, all of a sudden, I noticed this. Everything gets called in the last 2 minutes of the game, as opposed to the first half or the 12-minute mark. And I understand it in a way, but man, it just changes the whole complexity of the end of a game anymore.
All fans are really looking for is consistency.
Yeah.
If they would just be consistent throughout the course of a game, that would minimize complaints.
Yep.
If you're going to call it both sides,
if you're going to call it here, you got to call it here.
Right.
I don't know. I for some reason that really stuck out to me this weekend.
Sure. But yeah, two great games on Saturday, like we just talked about, leading us to the Monday night tilt between the Houston Cougars and Florida Gators. Vegas had this a toss-up, a pick-em game. I think that's how most people would view it.
Oh, for sure, yeah.
Both teams have had to come from behind a handful of times in this tournament. So both battle-tested as hell. Somebody was going to have to take it from the other team, you know. It was going to be earned, that's for sure. Both teams, like I said, have been through the battles in this tournament and have gotten better as this thing's gone on.
Neither team was, if they got down 6 or 8 points, neither team was going to fold.
Right.
They've been there.
It was like a heavyweight battle.
Sure, yeah.
Yep. Last man standing, so to speak.
Just keep trading blows.
Yep, and that's exactly how this game went, really. I mean, when it was all said and done, it was a back and forth affair. Yes, Houston led for most of the game, but Florida, you can never count them out.
No.
That's what I'm getting at. You can never count them out. Houston jumped out early. Florida cut the deficit to 31-28 at half, so just a 3-point game at halftime. Walter Clayton Jr. was the biggest reason why Florida ended up winning the championship this year. But the guy that really had a huge game last night was Will Richard. Florida, like I said, scored 28 points in the first half. Okay, he had 14 of those 28. You know how many Walter Clayton Jr. had in the first half? 0.
Nada.
Goose egg.
Yep.
Will Richard willed Florida to stay in that game in the first half.
I'm sure Florida fans would tell you, with their top scorer setting at 0 at the half, they were thrilled to only be down 3 points at the break.
Right. Like I said, 14 of their 28, he was 4 of 5 from three-point land.
That's awesome.
And that's not even his specialty, so to speak. So that was like a kind of like a bonus.
When you're on, you're on, right?
Right.
You know, you just, the rim's
like
huge.
I said, he kept them in that game until Walter Clayton Jr. could kind of find his footing there in that second half.
Sometimes it just takes these guys a little bit to get going.
Right. Richard ended up with 18 points, 8 rebounds, 2 assists, 2 steals, 4 of 4 from the line.
Solid.
That's a hell of a contribution from that kid.
Yep.
Alex Condon ended up with 12 points. Walter Clayton Jr. 3 of 10 from the field, 1 of 7 from 3, but 4 of 4 from the line. 0 points in the first half, 11 in that second half. When they had to have something out of him, they weren't going to win that game with him contributing nothing.
Free throws win titles.
Yep.
You know, I mean, you got to make free throws.
Right. I'm going to go through this here. Houston, they had a 12-point lead. I mean, they were in a great spot.
Yeah.
They were in a great spot. I mean, when it was all said and done, that makes it hurt even more.
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah. If you blow a double-digit lead, yeah, you better believe me that's going to hurt. That'll sting for a long time for these players.
Yeah, and Kelvin Sampson, I mean, you had to feel for that guy a little bit. 69 years old. He now has 799 wins, 1 away from 800. But in a great position to get that first title for him and for Houston. Yep. Like I said, neither him nor Houston has won a title. Yes. Looking here at the 17-minute mark, Houston had dug themselves a 10-point lead. Florida had dug themselves a 10-point hole. And then with just 16 minutes left, Houston up 42-30. So they really had a stranglehold on this game. And that's when Florida kind of flipped the switch, which they had to do. There was definitely a sense of urgency at that time, and they were getting contributions from Condon, and then Clayton started picking up his game, you know, what we're accustomed to seeing from that guy. And from there, they just steadily cut into it, got a little closer as things went on, and then by the 8-minute mark, they'd whittled the lead down to 1. So at that point, right, at that 8-minute mark, it was anybody's game.
Yeah, and at that point, I mean, the amount of momentum that Florida had, the confidence that they had cutting that lead from 12 to 1. I mean, at that point, those guys are thinking, we're going to win this game.
Right. And then with 7:02 left, Florida got it tied at 51-all. And anybody that watches definitely basketball knows sometimes, you know, a team can get it tied. But if they don't get up over that hump, so to speak, sometimes that counter run will come and they'll never get the lead. And that's damn close to what happened here.
And a lot of times that counter run is a big run.
Right.
So, yeah, it could have easily gone that way.
Florida did not get their first lead in this game until there was 46 seconds left.
Wow. I didn't realize
they
that.
did not lead at all until there was 46 seconds left.
My gosh.
They got over the hump.
Yep.
2 free throws by Elijah Martin give them that 64-63 lead that they were looking for. And then Houston, those kids played so hard. They played hard, but they did not execute down the stretch.
No, mental.
You can play as hard as you can play, and if you do not execute, I mean, man, that just killed them.
I'm going to say the way this game ended, with the lack of the mental side of it, reminded me of Chris Webber calling a timeout when he had none to take.
Right.
It just, you have to know the position you're in. And that last possession by Houston was just a terrible possession.
Right.
I wanted to at least see them have a shot. Like,
Right.
get a shot up at least.
It kind of, squelched the drama a little bit.
Yeah. But,
after that, after Martin's 2 free throws, Brian, Will Richard had a steal, so there's a Houston turnover, okay? Yep. So then, obviously, they had to foul. They fouled with 19 seconds left. Denzel Aberdeen made 1 free throw for Florida, 1 out of 2, giving them that 65-63 lead. Houston calls the timeout. You going for the tie, you going for the win, or you just going for best shot available?
I'm going for the win.
Right.
I mean, the way they shoot the ball, I'm putting a shot up with about 3 seconds remaining, hoping that if there's a miss, you can get a quick tip.
Sure.
I mean, that's what I would have tried to do.
They had it set up. They really did. There was a 3 coming by Emmanuel Sharp. Walter Clayton Jr. leaped, lunged, however you want to phrase it. Sharp goes up.
Oh, shit.
Loses the ball.
Yeah.
This is something you just don't see. He cannot touch it, obviously. We know the rules. He waits for a teammate to come in. Time continues to tick. Alex Condon comes in fast as one can come, grabs the ball, clutches it. Florida steals that game.
That's it. Yeah. I mean, that dramatic end didn't happen. Mm-hmm. We were all expecting, at least a shot, and it didn't happen. Florida played the smarter game down the stretch, and again, I want to congratulate Houston on the season, but that last possession was terrible.
Right.
I can't say it any other way. It was terrible.
I felt horrible for that kid. And I'll be honest, I'm not trying to make this about me, but this is how I would put it. I told you guys on the podcast that I had some interest in Florida, okay? So I was happy that they won, but I don't know if I've ever felt as bad for another team. Yeah. Even though I was happy with Florida winning, I felt horrible for Houston. I mean, I really did.
Not I thought
those kids play so hard.
Yep.
I think Florida just has a few more dudes.
Yeah.
I mean, Houston's got some too, but Florida's got probably a little more NBA talent out there.
These two teams are the type of teams to where if they played a 10-game series, one team's probably going to win 6 and the other team's going to win. I mean, it's going to be close.
Sure.
I think Florida would probably win 6. Houston maybe gets 4 of them.
Right.
But, yeah.
If I'm being perfectly honest, I think Houston probably plays a harder brand of basketball, but Florida is more fluent on the offensive end, have more weapons. Houston seems to get bogged down. They rely a lot on second chance opportunities.
Yes, they do.
They're a great rebounding team.
Yep.
It was a great matchup. Yep. Somebody had to lose, and it happened to be Houston and Kelvin Sampson. The good news is for them, way too early predictions, but I was looking here. Houston's going to be maybe ranked number 1 next year. They've got Emmanuel Sharp's coming back for one thing, which good for that kid. Yeah. A chance for redemption, if you will.
Exactly.
But let's be honest, Houston wouldn't have been where they were without his contributions.
No.
So that kid has nothing to feel bad about.
Nope.
LJ Cryer's a hell of a player, but he did a lot of the heavy lifting as well.
They'll get their shot.
Yes.
All right, we're going to stay with basketball here, but we're going to switch it up a little bit. We're going to talk about the college basketball crown in Las Vegas. First year of this tournament, Eric. Yeah, I didn't know a lot about it before Nebraska accepted the invitation.
Yeah, the way I view it, it's a consolation prize of some kind.
Sure.
It's better than your season coming to an abrupt end.
Yeah.
But yes, there's part of me that still thinks, I know, repeating myself, that we should have got to the tournament and won a game. And I think what they did in Vegas helps to justify
it does.
that.
You're absolutely right. the Huskers, for some reason, they got to Vegas, and what did I see different with this team? First off, they played loose. Like, you could tell they were just
pressure free.
Yeah, like they were taking maybe shots they wouldn't have taken during the regular season.
Right.
They were playing players that wouldn't have played. I mean, I gotta obviously give a huge shout out to Cale Jacobson, Ashland Greenwood kid, that he got his first start in this tournament, and he was huge.
I think this was his coming out party.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, I'm not going to act like he's going to go on to be a great star. Maybe he will, but his coming out party in a way that I'm pretty sure he's going to contribute next year.
Exactly.
Right.
He just earned more playing time.
Yes.
This kid is never going to lead the team in scoring, rebounding, assists, but he is. It's a phrase that I'll use. He's hard-nosed.
Right.
He hustled.
We talked earlier in podcasts about how you got to have guys like him.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
They can't all be dudes that just want to score and not do anything else.
No, exactly. This Crown tournament, from what I've kind of read and listened, this maybe has taken the place of the NIT as the second tier now. The part about this tournament that really bugged me was watching the games every night. The announcers made sure to tell you how much money these teams. I mean, every 30 seconds it was, we're playing for $100,000.
I thought that was blown out of proportion.
Yeah.
They oversold that.
Yeah.
They oversold it.
Yeah.
I mean, that's great, but in this day and age, that's not that much money to those players.
No,
really.
No. In reality,
right.
no.
It was a selling point that they oversold.
Yeah. But on the plus side, a couple things here. Nebraska finished the season at 21-14. I've heard people say, well, they're laughing. They're the 69th best team in the country. Well, I'm telling you, no, they're not. There's a lot of those teams in the NCAA tournament that head-to-head Nebraska beats them. Right. You know that. Are they a great team? No, but this team was better than the 69th best team. Hitting the 20-win mark, Nebraska's won 20 wins, has hit that mark 2 years in a row. I think this hadn't been done in forever at Nebraska. I think Danny Nee was the last coach to do that.
Sounds right.
The 21 wins this season, tied for the 7th best ever at Nebraska. And it's the second time that Nebraska has won a postseason tournament. We won the NIT in 96. Some will say that 96 team was the best Husker team of all time.
How the hell did they not make the tournament?
You know, that team was...
How did they not make the tournament that year?
Eric Strickland, they melted down. I mean, I think they started the season at it was unreal.
They were too talented to be in the NIT.
14-5 or something.
Too talented to be in the NIT field.
They were. But I will say this, Eric. It's good to end the season with a win. It's good to see these kids out there scrapping, playing hard. Juwan Gary, Bryce Williams. These two seniors, they could have opted to not even play in this tournament. So the fact that not only did they play, but they played really well. And that championship game on Sunday, Juwan Gary, when he got hurt there in the midway point of the second half, once he came back, it was like they lit a spark. Nebraska, a team that when they get down, we usually assume the game's over, fought back in that game from a 14-point deficit and won the game. I mean,
sure.
I can't say how impressed I am with the fact that they battled. They didn't give up when it got hard, which we've seen this team do. I'm not happy that we weren't in the NCAA tournament because this was the team that would have got a win. But I am happy that they fought for Coach Hoiberg. And some players, again, the Cale Jacobsons, the Connor Essesians, the Sam Hoibergs. These guys might not even see the court for other teams, but they worked their asses off. He gave them the opportunity, and they played well. Andrew Morgan had a couple back-to-back big possessions in that championship game.
Right?
Yeah. Is Central Florida, are they a basketball juggernaut? Boise State, probably not. Georgetown, yeah, Georgetown has some history.
Sure.
They were a little low. I know they had players not playing. So yeah, it's a lower tier it's a lower tier win, but I'm going to take it, move forward, and see. What do you think, Eric? Does this carry over?
I'm hoping. I mean, especially playing in Vegas, maybe that gets noticed by some. Maybe it'll help them with some recruiting.
Yeah,
that's what I think they could benefit from the most from playing in Vegas in this thing.
And they have got a couple recruits.
Right.
We've brought in a kid from Iowa. We brought in a kid, where was he from? Central Michigan, maybe?
Yep, that's right.
And I just saw they announced today that a former Husker is coming back. Point guard Jamarquez Lawrence.
Okay. Jamarcus Lawrence.
Yep. So he's coming back. He's got, I think, 1 year of eligibility left. So we've got some help coming. It's going to be tough to replace Gary and Williams.
Rink Mast will be back, or is supposed to be as well, coming off of an injury, and he was a big-time contributor last year, as we know.
Yeah, if you throw him in the mix this year, we're probably a turning team.
That would be my guess. But
he wasn't available.
We cannot use that as an excuse either.
So, I'll piggyback off what you said. I hope this allows them to build towards next season. We'll see what happens.
Yes, because let's not lose sight. The ultimate goal, let's not lose sight of this, is to get to the tournament and win a game. These things are great, but they cannot take the place of that. Eventually, Nebraska has to break through.
You have to
get to the damn tournament and win a freaking game.
Next year, let's do it.
Yeah.
All right, Husker baseball. Let's dig in here, Eric. Husker baseball now sits at 14-18 overall. Not where we want to be, but could be worse. I need to make a correction. I misspoke last week. I congratulated the Huskers on their first conference series win of the season. And after re-listening, I realized that, Oregon State's not part of the Big Ten. Oregon is, but not the Beavers. So I do want to correct myself there. I make mistakes. I'm human.
It's getting more, in your defense, more challenging to know where the hell everybody's at these days.
It's hard, yeah.
Right.
Now, going off of that, Nebraska did pick up their first conference series win over the weekend. They took 2 out of 3 versus Rutgers. I'll get to that in a minute. A little disappointing start to the week, Eric. They came off winning 2 out of 3 against the 5th-ranked Oregon State Beavers. What do we talk about? Momentum, right? I don't know about you, but to me it looked like they ran into a brick wall with the momentum.
Do they put undue pressure upon themselves when they play these teams that are close in proximity?
I mean, it seems that way.
And I'll go, I'm just going to throw it out there. I'm talking about Iowa and football. I'm talking about freaking Iowa and basketball. Creighton in any sport.
Yeah.
Omaha. How the hell are we losing to Omaha?
Yeah.
Shouldn't
happen. Shouldn't happen.
Come on.
No, I don't want to knock Creighton. I don't want to knock the Mavs, but Nebraska has more resources than they do. Nebraska has, especially in baseball, they have more notoriety than they do. And they Tuesday night, they lose to Creighton 5-9.
It just seems to me that we play better when there's not as much pressure.
Yeah.
Or expectations to beat a team. And that's not good.
No.
That needs to change.
Wednesday night, taking on the Mavs. Nebraska led 9-4 after 4 innings. You got to feel pretty good about that. Omaha went on to win the game 9-11. Got outscored 7-0 down the stretch. Yeah, choke, right? Just a total choke. Not so. All of a sudden, we're coming off a 2-1 weekend of beating the 5th team in the country to losing to 2 mediocre or below average teams.
What a swing!
Yeah, just absolutely unreal. So they have a day off and then they host Rutgers. Come out on Friday night. They earn an 8-5 win. Saturday, they win the series 10-5. And then Sunday, they kind of do what they do. And they lost a close game 5-7. But at that point, you got to be going for the jugular here. And they fail to do that. So yes, you win the series, but you could have swept. You could have swept.
So in those 5 games we talked about last podcast,
Yes.
we were hoping for what? 3, 4?
At least 4.
Right.
At
What
least
did we
4.
get? What did we get?
We got 2.
Yeah.
Yeah. We went the other way.
That's a problem.
That's a big problem. Tonight, the Huskers are at 22nd ranked Kansas.
Another great opportunity.
This is the 254th meeting all time in this series. Nebraska leads at 149 wins, 103 losses, and 2 ties.
Nice.
Kind of going off what you said here a couple minutes ago, Eric. Oddly enough, even though we are 14-18 this year, we are 3-2 against ranked opponents.
Right.
It makes no sense.
Correct.
It makes no sense.
That part is fantastic. Proud of them for that. But yeah, you can't let your guard down or put too much pressure on yourself. Whatever the hell the case may be, I don't know which one it is.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter.
You got to figure it out. Fix it. Friday through Sunday, Nebraska is at 20-10 Iowa. Iowa's coming off winning 2 out of 3 against Northwestern over the weekend. The positive side lately, and a couple weeks ago I kind of jumped on them for this, but over the last 10 games, the offense is coming alive. We're up to scoring. We're averaging 7.4 runs a game. Our batting average is over these 10 games. We're up to a .323 batting average, and we've hit 13 home runs.
That's progress.
So now it comes, we've kind of flipped. Our pitching was solid. Our batting was bad. Now our pitching is giving up some runs. We're making a few mistakes on the field. We got to find that middle ground.
Yeah.
You know,
you got to get everything clicking.
So, I mean, we'll see what happens. I don't have a lot of hope this week. I'm going to say tonight at Kansas we probably lose this game.
I mean, they give you hope and then they take it away.
Yeah. So,
I mean, isn't that the most accurate way to put it?
Yeah.
They give you hope and then they take it away from you.
Pull that rug right out from underneath us fans, yeah. But we'll see what happens this week, and hopefully we have some positives to talk about next week.
Damn right. Okay, last time we talked, Royals were 2-2. They are currently 5-5.
Yep.
Ryan, they went 3-3 in this stretch. When we last talked, they were coming off that win over the Brewers on Monday.
Yep.
They go on to lose the next 2.
Yeah.
So after you won that first game, losing the next 2, yep, that is semi-disappointing.
Sure, taking a little step back, but I'm not concerned. You know, we talked when we were off the air here, Eric. This team's 5-5. So through 10 games, as a Royals fan in the past, we're used to 2-8. So to be 5-5 at this point, I really think we're in a great spot right now.
Right. That Tuesday game versus Milwaukee, okay, coming off that game where the Royals scored 11 runs, we joked about how they should have saved some.
Yeah.
They lost 5-0 on Tuesday.
Never fails.
If only you could do that.
Never fails.
So that one was easy to take. Brewers were the better team that night after they got their ass kicked the day before. That happens all the time in baseball.
All the time.
All the time. The tougher one was the next day. Okay, the Royals lose a heartbreaker, 3-2. 3-2 in extra innings. So they fell to 0-2 in extra inning games. They used 8 total pitchers this game. If there's one thing that I wish we would do more of at times, it's ride that hot hand. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
With your relief pitchers.
Yeah.
Especially in a close game where hell, this game could go extra innings.
Sure.
Maybe instead of giving a pitcher just the 3 hitters and playing the matchup game, if you see a pitcher that's really kicking ass,
let him go.
Maybe leave him in there for
let him go.
Another few hitters.
I agree with you 100%. I feel like managers today play the numbers way too much.
A lot of them do it in baseball,
Yeah,
but
do.
I wish the Royals would be different in that regard.
Yeah, if you, like you said, I'm just going to reiterate it. But if you have a guy that's hitting the zone
and his pitch count is very reasonable,
let him go.
Let him go.
Let him go.
Yep.
Don't pull him out. See, even if he only goes one more batter, but let these guys.
That's the analytical approach that many teams are using.
They do.
And I like some of it. I just think sometimes they go a little overboard. That's all.
Yeah, they go overboard a lot.
That's about the only minor complaint I have so far. And I saw some of that last year. I thought, let's keep this guy in. He looks great.
Eight pitchers in a game is far too many.
So, I mean, if they would have done that this game, who knows? Maybe we get a different result. Yeah. We'll never know. But, maybe as the year goes on, maybe we'll see hopefully more of that. Early in the year, maybe they're being
overly cautious.
Yes,
maybe.
yes. For sure. They lose 2 or 3 in Milwaukee, okay? And then an off day, big series at home against Baltimore. Because, after that Brewers series, you have a losing record going into that home series, so you really want to get back on track, obviously.
And I always like to play the Orioles.
That's because we've knocked them out of the playoffs twice.
Yeah, that's true. Maybe
you see them as a little bit of the Royals whipping boys.
Yeah, and we don't have many of those.
Right. Actually, they have done very good against the Royals in season series here in recent years, but that doesn't quite compare to the playoffs.
No.
Where the Royals knocked them out in 2014 and again last year.
Oh.
Yep. Friday night, the Royals won convincingly, 8-2. Lugo looked great. 6 innings pitched, 1 earned run, couple strikeouts and a walk. Harvey, Urseg, and Stratton comes in because it's a 6-run differential. They shut the door. Easy peasy.
Again, you almost wish you could save a couple of those runs for the next day, right?
Yep.
You get to that point, and my gut after Friday night's win was telling me Saturday's not going to go well.
Same type of deal as we talked about before.
I just had that feeling, though, that it wasn't going to go the way we wanted to as fans. I had even contemplated on going down to that game on Saturday, even with the cold weather, but I almost knew how it was going to go.
Sure. Yeah, as we talked about, Royals pitching dominated that game in the offense. Saw contributions from various players. Vinny had a couple hits, 3 RBIs. Great to see. Garcia with 2 more hits and 3 RBIs.
Yeah.
That dude's on one right now.
He is. I don't know if it's sustainable, but we're going to take it while it's happening, right?
Sure, because we know how baseball works. You know, guys take turns running hot and cold.
The ebbs and flows.
And it cannot be Bobby Witt Jr. and Sal and Vinny every night.
No, these other guys have to step up from time to time.
Yep.
For sure.
Okay, so they take care of business Friday and get back to 500. That's where we currently are then. Saturday, 8-1 Orioles.
Yep.
Same type of deal. Convincing win for Baltimore. Michael Wacha, 4 earned runs in just over 5 innings pitched. 5 Ks, 1 walk. So
struggling a little bit early, but not bad.
Like we talked about. Yeah, hot and cold with pitching too. Yep. So far, starting pitching overall, though, pretty damn good.
Yep, not concerned about him.
Right. Sunday, it was the rubber game. And one, you need this one. We talked about how they're going to go on the road for that big 10-game road trip. You don't want to fall too far behind. So you win this, baby, you get back to 500. That's what we were looking for. They come in at 4-5. Chris Bubich shuts the door on them. Six innings pitched, 1 earned run, 8 strikeouts, 1 walk. He has 16 strikeouts through his first 2 starts. Harvey, Urseg, Estevez come in and nail it down. KC wins 4-1.
Yeah, Bubic looks good early. That's for sure. I'm sure in his mind he has something to prove after his injury, fighting back. He's just happy to be back in this starting lineup. He's loose out there. I just love what the kid's done so far this year.
Right, and Bobby Witt Jr. 3 hits on this given day. Sal chipped in a couple, and Mark Canna a couple hits. That dude's hitting over 400 right now.
Yeah, great late pickup.
Yep, a veteran presence.
Yep.
Garcia chips in a couple more hits. 2 out of 3 from Baltimore. And I misspoke. Yesterday's win actually got the Royals back to the 5-5 mark. That would be the 4-2 win over the Twinkies over the Twins. Yep, that got them back to 5-5. Lorenzen with a great start. Michael Lorenzen, who they signed to the 1-year contract this year, former Texas Ranger, shut the Twins down. 6 innings pitched, 1 earned run, 3 strikeouts, no walks.
Division wins are so important, no matter what time of the season it is. So anytime you go on the road and get a win like that, great win.
Yep, Harvey, Urseg, Estevez again.
There you go.
7, 8, 9.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, right now, those guys have their roles and they look great.
Hey.
Throughout the course of the year, that could change. But
could.
Let's hope it doesn't.
If it ain't broke, don't fix it, right?
Yep, they've been very steady so far. Kyle Isbell, 3 hits, a home run, and 2 RBIs, getting contributions from different individuals. Exactly what we're looking for.
It is. At this point, I'm happy to see that Vinny's been able to overcome that hamstring injury. I was really worried about that. The fact that he has played through that is great. But yeah, we've got to get these guys in that 6, 7, 8, 9 role to pick things up. If it's 1 guy a night, 2 guys, whatever it is, but we got to continue to get production out of those slots.
Exactly.
And as long as we do that, I think we're going to be right where we want to be.
Right. The Royals have a new weapon on the base paths, Brian.
Okay.
With Blanco on the DL, his name would be Tyler Tolbert.
Okay.
That kid can run a little bit.
Tyler Tolbert. I know nothing about this kid.
Okay. Yeah, like I said, he's kind of slid into that Blanco position. Yeah, Tyler Tolbert, Brian, in the minors, for the Royals, 243 stolen bases. He's been caught 16 times. That dude, he is like Terrence Gore.
Yeah.
He's even built kind of like him.
Okay.
I mean, I'm not saying he's pushing Blanco out. We'll see. It's all right to have a couple dudes
for
like
sure
that.
it is. Yeah, for sure. And the thing with a kid like this, one thing people need to realize is base stealing is not all about speed. It takes a lot of smarts to steal bases. I mean, you got to be able to read the pitcher. You got to know what pitch you need to be going on. You need to know what kind of arm the catcher has. I mean, there's a lot that goes into stealing bases other than just speed.
Right.
So
Bobby Witt Jr. proved that.
Yeah.
That kid, abundance of talent. The one thing he struggled at last year was stealing bases.
Yeah, he got thrown out
he's
way
going to
too many
challenge
times.
himself and try to get better reads and learn how to be a better base stealer. But yes, because of what you said, that's a good example.
Yeah.
The kid's got just a little bit of speed.
He's got speed, and evidently he's smart too. If you've only been thrown out 16 times on 259 attempts,
right,
you're doing something right. Don't change.
Sure. I was talking about Bobby Witt Jr. though.
Oh,
that dude's got speed, but he's still learning how to read pitchers.
No, you're right.
I'm saying he will challenge himself to get better,
and he will.
Yep,
he will
in that department.
Yeah. I think over the next 2 to 4 years, you're going to see that kid really up his numbers on the base paths.
I agree.
Yeah.
Things we've seen early in the season beyond the obvious. Garcia has done all right in the outfield. Brian, what are the Royals lacking right now? productive outfield hitters.
I mean, that's kind of been what we've complained about for a couple years now.
Right.
Yeah.
Let's say that things work out for him in the outfield. That would obviously allow Massey and India to stay on the infield.
Sure.
And really strengthen the outfield overall.
Yep.
If that experiment works.
Yeah.
For now, they're going to continue to rotate different guys. I mean, we've seen Indy out there too.
Yep.
But Garcia is athletic enough that
He
I would
is.
give him the best chance possibly long term as far as a fit in the outfield.
I agree.
Something to keep an eye on. And a guy that's been brutal in the outfield so far is Hunter Renfroe.
Yeah.
I think his days in the outfield are over with. He's had a lot of blunders early in the year. He's just not a very quick fella. His reads have been bad.
I was going to say that.
If you're not quick, then you have to get good reads.
Yeah. When that ball comes off the bat, you can't misstep.
Right.
You have to know where that ball's going. And if you make a good read, that first step, a hard first step, you have a great shot of getting to that ball, even if you're on the average side of speed.
Sure.
But if you're not making that great read and you're a half a step behind, you're screwed.
Right.
You're
now,
screwed.
I'm not saying there's not a spot on the team. You know, if he starts hitting, you can incorporate him into the DH spot.
But he needs to hit.
You can incorporate him in the DH spot. Maybe you can get by with playing him in the outfield, we'll say 5 innings, and then get a replacement.
Sure.
Teams do that all the time, and the Royals are already showing that they have guys that are very versatile.
Yeah.
Guys that are playing different positions. So, yes, I'm not saying give up on him, but I'm saying minimize his time in the outfield.
Absolutely.
Maybe, like I said, incorporate him possibly more at DH if he starts to hit. Just something to keep an eye on.
Something to keep an eye
But
on.
I like what I'm seeing as far as different guys playing different positions.
Yep.
That is great for your team as long as you don't take a hit defensively by doing too much of that.
Yeah, I mean, and we kind of talked about that. It's okay to take a little hit in the outfield at a position if a guy's hitting well.
Right.
You don't want to take a big hit, but if you have a guy that's not hitting great and he's lacking in the outfield, you got to find something else for him.
Sure.
For sure.
But so far, starting pitching's been really damn good. Harvey, Urseg, and Estevez have been lights out so far. You have, a few guys that have struggled. Sam Long has struggled. Angel Zerpa, not good so far. The season is a long season.
Yeah.
I'm just giving, feedback on performances thus far.
Yep.
We're right at 5-5. We got 3 left with the Twins. Let's win 2 of those.
If we win 2 of those, I'm going to feel really good
Let's
about it.
take 3 out of 4, head out on that 10-game road trip above 500, and go from there.
What's a successful road trip?
10 games against Cleveland, the Yankees, and Detroit. That's going to be tough.
It's going to be really tough.
I mean, I would love to say, I'll say 5-5, but I mean, that's going to be a challenge.
But you're wanting 5-5, but you might be happy at 4-6.
Yeah, I hate to say happy at 4-6, but you could live with 4-6.
You could
against those 3 teams,
against these opponents.
Yeah,
I mean, I'm not going to feel bad about that.
I would just, like I said, let's win 2 more against the Twins, take a 7-6 record on the road, and go from there.
Historically, we know the Yankees at Yankee Stadium. We struggle,
right?
But we'll see what happens.
Sure,
we'll see what happens.
But yeah, next week we're going to talk some baseball, of course, but we would like to incorporate some football as well.
Yep.
With basketball reaching its end, its conclusion, we're going to incorporate some football. We got the draft coming up. Huskers, we'll get back on track with them and throw some football talk out there as well.
We'll have a little bit of that for you guys for sure. I just want to thank everybody again for listening, for telling your friends. Keep giving us a follow. It's a work in progress, and we appreciate everyone that is listening to us.
Yep, thank you.